May 19th, 2023. You guessed it, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. We're hearing a lot of people talking about the debt ceiling, how June 1st, if they haven't reached a deal, America's just going to implode. There's going to be no more money and all this, right? We're hearing it every day if you're watching YouTube videos. On the regular news, I couldn't tell you because I don't watch regular news. But one thing these people are leaving out is they're going to pass it. They're going to pass and raise the debt ceiling. Will they do it before June 1st? That's the question. They may hold off a little while and let them, let people get upset and angry over it, right? What happens if they don't raise the debt ceiling? You'll have things shut down like parks. Some people will have to go home, but you also got to understand these people will be able to draw unemployment. Another thing, they're going to raise the debt ceiling because look how much money we're sending to Ukraine. We got to just keep pumping the money over there, right? I mean, how much money we got over there now? Billions of dollars, right? But we're in debt, but yet we can send all this money and equipment over there. Another thing, when you go to start talking about the equipment we're sending over to Ukraine, you got to stop and think. We're sending them equipment. We're having to replace that equipment here, which is costing us more now than it did when it was bought originally, right? So we're going in the hole there. You also got Biden wanting to buy oil from someone to help fill back the reserves. What good is that? Just open up our stuff a little bit, right? Fill it up, get back to normal on the oil reserves, right? But they want us to go green. They want us to go green. Our power grid cannot sustain a fully electric society. We know that. You got rolling blackouts everywhere. They're not as bad as everybody's making it out to be as far as the rolling blackouts. It's not shutting down a whole eastern section or a western section, but towns are seeing rolling blackouts. We saw one here during last winter during that cold snap, a 15-minute deal. They cut it off for 15 to 30 minutes, then turned it back on. But if that's going to happen, how can we go green, right? Most people will be charging their cars at night, right? And that's when they want you to cut down on power uses at night. So that's not going to happen. But to get back on point about the debt ceiling. Yes, it's big news. A lot of channels are talking about it right now. They're leaving out the part of eventually it'll get passed and that it's not a end-all be-all if it doesn't pass. We've had government shutdowns before. People get laid off and things like that. They get to draw their unemployment. Usually their unemployment starts by the time they go back to work. So they're out. They don't get a check for a month or two, right? That hurts. It hurts. I understand that. But it's June 1st. We're going to wake up and they're not going to have a deal done and the dollar's going to collapse and the government's going to shut down and all this and that. Probably not, guys. Probably not. One thing I want to say, a lot of prepper channels on here, we prep, right, to be prepared for anything. But there's some things you can't prepare for. Everybody knows that. It's usually the one thing that you forgot to prep for is what gets you. Like, dang, I should have did that. But right now it kind of shows the importance of having cash on hands with this looming. If you work in a job where you could get laid off if it does shut down, I know times are hard and it's hard to put money back right now, but you need to have some cash put back, that way you can still pay your bills. Because just because the government shut down doesn't mean your bills are not going to still be there. A lot of people think that you hear government shutdown that the whole government just shuts down, right? That doesn't happen. Your congressmen, all them, they still get paid. President gets paid. Everybody still gets paid, except for the divisions they close, right? Like usually the parks and things like that, that hurts the American citizens because what are we coming up on? School's getting out, people's going to be traveling, they're going to go to, national parks and things like that. We've seen it before where they've shut them down. So I've always said, remember your history. What's going on now with the debt ceiling is nothing new. But with everything else going on in the world, it seems like a bigger issue than it actually is because we know they're going to pass something because they're going to keep spending money. They tell. The funniest thing is, if you miss a tax payment or something, they're going to come after you, right? They're going to come after you hard. If you didn't pay your tax or something, they're going to come after you, and they're not going to quit till they get their money. But yet, our government can operate in a deficit the whole time. Think about that. If you have a business and you're out here, like my wood business where I make epoxy tables and things like that, if I'm going in the hole every time I'm building something like that, but I just keep borrowing money, robbing Peter to pay Paul, people would frown on that, right? But like, that guy don't know how to operate a business. But it's perfectly fine for the federal government to do it. It shows where we're at as a society right now. Number one, fear sells. Fear sells. You get on YouTube, people will be posting videos. June 1st, the world's going to end. America's going to be gone. It's not going to happen. Could it happen? Yes. Somebody could push a button and something could happen. I'm not saying that. But is it an end-all, be-all? No. Will they pass something by June 1st? I kind of think they will. It'll be one of them late-night deals. And, of course, they're going to sneak something in on the bill that shouldn't even be on there because they do that all the time. If they don't pass it, go back and read up on our government shutdowns that's happened in the past and kind of give you an idea of how long it could take them to pass it. If you work in one of them industries, it's not really an industry, but if you work for the government, I hope you got some money put back to help you get through this if you do get laid off. Like I said, everybody that I know that's ever got laid off, they do get their unemployment, but it's usually when they're already back at work and then they get mailed their money. It's not, a lot of people are confused that you file for unemployment and it's like that and you get it, but it's not like that. You have to wait. But it's not the end all be all. A lot of prepper channels, they're sitting here, everything that happens is, this is it, this is going to do it. And it's not. It takes a series of things. Are we living in the fall of America right now? Yes, we are. We are living history right now. We are living it. Some people hasn't woke up enough to see it. They don't see what's going on because they're still able to go out and grab a hamburger. They're still able to go out and buy them a loaf of bread, Is it costing you a little bit more? Yes, but it's still there, right? So they're thinking everything's fine. Everything's good. But they're not paying attention on what's going on. I mean, our groceries, it's not 4%, it's not 8%, it's not 10%. We can see physically what our grocery bills have went up. Some cases 25, 35%. And not only that, you've got shrinkflation now. On top of it, you're paying more for less. So we're witnessing the fall of America. Is it going to be an overnight thing? No, I've told you. We all thought, a lot of us thought, I should say, that we're going to wake up, bam, overnight and it's done, right? But we're on that hill. Remember, I told you, a ball rolling down a hill. You're not going to stop it. It's picking up speed as it goes here, and that's what's happening. You get all this stuff going on all over the world. All over the world. We're claiming to be the big superpower, but yet we operate at a deficit. We have to raise the debt limit, debt ceiling, to be able to continue to operate. Imagine if a country called our debt in, said you got X amount of time to pay this off. But I know people are going to say China would never do it. China owns a lot of our debt. People are not going to say, they're not going to do that. They're not going to ruin their own economy. You're not thinking outside the box. Everybody thought Russia's economy would just collapse, from the sanctions. You hear a lot of times on here about how the stock market's crashing, right? Stock market closed 500 points down, it's crashing. People forget that at the start of 2020, the stock market got down to 17, 16, around in there. It fell. But you got to understand, it's got built-in stops. There's 3 stops. I don't remember the percentage, but it hits one, it stops for a few minutes, they start back. If it hits the second one, it starts back. If it hits the third one, they close for the day. There's no more trading on it. That's exactly what Russia did during the start of this when we started sanctioning them. Their stock started falling, they said shut it down. And what they do, once it kind of stabilized, they opened back up and their stock market didn't crash. They started backing their stuff with gold, right? Which is something we need to do in America, but we're never going to do it. We're not going to back our currency with gold because then you can't just go out and print billions and trillions of dollars off and say, here's some money, right? But guys, welcome to the fall. I mean, we're seeing the fall of America. I hate to say it. If my grandpa was still alive, I would love to be able to talk to him right now and see what he thought about all this. And he was a hardcore Democrat voting man, straight ticket. I've said before, I don't think he would still be voting Democrat. I could be wrong, but I don't think he would. But guys, there's the video right now about the debt ceiling. We'll see what happens on it. If you're still watching, most of you's not at roughly 10 minutes. But if you are and you don't know if you want to subscribe or not, please subscribe. Like and share this video. Comment on it. Do you think we're going to reach a deal? Do you think this is all just something to get everybody scared and panicked? Do you think if we don't reach a deal that the United States is going to collapse June 1st? Let me know your thoughts on this. Keep your head on a swivel, be aware of your surroundings, protect yourself and your family at all times. At that moment, you're the only person that can do it. Stay safe, get prepped up, and if you're working a government job, I hope you got some money put back in case you do get laid off for a while. Stay safe, get prepped.